Hi, everyone. Thanks for making the left turn for today, Tuesday night, March 24th, 2015. I'm George Farrar. Welcome back to the Jax Left Channel, and welcome to the Jax Left Channel, and welcome to a live event, our first live broadcast here on the Jax Left Channel. And we're going to talk about the election results. We're going to talk about the election results, and I'm looking forward to having more to tell you about. And so I've got a lot planned. The text line is open, 904-955-8100. It's open to accept texts only, no phone calls. We're not doing phone just yet, but as in talking. But by all means, let's definitely start talking about what happened tonight. There are ramifications with decisions that people make in the voting booth, and I'm proud to be able to start off our broadcast tonight here on the Jax Left Channel, a progressive public affairs channel for the people of Jacksonville, Florida, on the Left Turn Network. We've been going since January 2011, right here on YouTube and all over the place. Well, it's great that I can start our first night of election coverage, this live coverage, to announce to you that more Democrats voted in the early voting and ultimately into the election count than Republicans. And I will say, people were impressed with the early voting turnout by Democrats, and I was one of them. Voted on Saturday, the 21st, and at Webb Westconnott Library. And what I really enjoyed about it, is being able to, think about who I wanted to vote for, study up, and then go make my decision. And of course, though, I really find I have to do it on early voting because, a typical work day, I have a 10-hour work day. I have to deal with Buckman Bridge. It is so convenient for the working man to go out to early voting. And of course, the Democratic Party is definitely the party of the workers of this country. And so it didn't surprise me, really. People were surprised. I wasn't very surprised. I know that people, hey, will take advantage when they can do it because we all work hard. So, all right, we've got a lot to talk about tonight. We're talking the mayor, the sheriff, the city council. We have also the supervisor elections, and then we have a referendum, and then one of those straw ballot things. So we're going to jump right in, and the big announcements. I think the big headline that we're certainly going to have tonight into tomorrow morning is Mayor Alvin Brown will have to face off in a runoff with Lenny Curry, and so that will be on May 19th. Tuesday, May 19th is election day, and of course there's the early voting before that. And so this is really going to take off. I had mentioned to a friend that I felt that Bill Bishop was a petite candidate, and very much so. And he had some good ideas, but I think, of course, I was disappointed that ultimately that people decided not to go with the mayor. I think ultimately, of course, we could expect that this would happen, but if you even took half of Councilman Bishop's support for mayor and add it to the mayor's return tonight, then you would find that he would win. He would have won. So, and that's the thing. But I think the thing about it is ultimately, when you're looking at whether you're going to reelect somebody or not, you're looking at what are the results? What have they done for the city? And Alvin Brown definitely over 4 years has had plenty to share with people. And so now I'd like to go ahead and go over with you the figures as we have them, mayor, sheriff, and all the other races. And, we're looking right now at around 95% of returns having come in on a lot of these races. In fact, taking a look based on what I'm seeing here, we're looking at 95 to 100%. District 4, we're still waiting on. District 8 looks like it's getting towards 100%. So we're going to have some stuff to talk about. Okay, so Alvin Brown, 43%, Lenny Curry, 38%, Bill Bishop, 16% with 95% of precincts reporting. All right, so Sheriff Ken Jefferson, Democrat, leading 37%, and he'll face Mike Williams in the runoff, who got 22%. So that is a good turnout for Ken Jefferson, and a remarkable turnout. And of course, as we go through this, we're going to have some analysis. I'm going to talk about who I was supporting and who I hope you were supporting. So let's move on. And as we go looking at the other races for sheriff, it wrapped up with Holderfield, Farhat, Cummings, Schoonover, and McDonald. Looks like, I mean, it was Holderfield pulled a healthy percentage at 20%. So, and Mike Hogan won, it looks like, from what I have here, has won Supervisor of Elections handily. We're still waiting on 5%, but he's got 55%. Tracy Davis, Democrat, has 45%. All right, and let's take a look at the at-large races, City Council. So far, it's going to go to runoff between Kimberly Daniels, the incumbent Democrat, up against Anna Broche, Republican. Daniels got 36%, Broche got 29%. And then also in Group 2, it looks like another person is winning outright with 95% reporting. John Crescenbenny looks like he's going to be returning back to the City Council at large Group 2. David Barron got 30%. Teresa Graham got 18%. They were both Republicans. Now, here's a surprise for the evening. We talk a lot about, hey, name recognition, but it looks like from what I'm seeing here with 95% of precincts reported in the at-large Group 3, former mayor and school board member Tommy Hazouri will have to face a runoff with Republican Jeff Youngblood, Missouri Democrat Jeff Youngblood, Republican. Okay, we have an incumbent definitely coming back to the council. Greg Anderson, Republican, 57% of the vote. So, barring anything unusual, he's headed right back to City Council for another term. City Council at large, Group 5, Jacoby Pittman looks like she's going to face, well, it could be Samuel Newby, or it may be Michelle Topone, depending upon the last 5%. You know what they say? Every vote counts. Well, apparently, it looks like in that race, it looks like it could come down to the wire on who will face Pittman. Or I think it's too close to call right now. Okay, that was at large Group 5. Now, let's look at the districts. District 1, that's going to go to runoff between, and some of these are 100% now reporting that they're in completely. 40% for Joyce Morgan, District 1, Democrat, and looks like she'll face Mike Anania, 39% Republican. City Council District 2, Lisa King, Democrat, will face Al Ferrero. She has 37%. He has 35%. So that will go to runoff. Jack Daniels had gotten 27%. So, and also too, one thing I'm going to point out also, let's go back on some of these others here. District 1, that was the race that had Melody Stachter and Eddie Christian in it. And so I'm surprised Melody Stachter did not make the runoff, it looks like, in that District 1 race. District 3 was a complete blowout. Aaron Bowman, 63% of the vote, is going to the City Council. City Council District 4, that's going to go to runoff. It looks like it's going to be between, now this one still has 82% out, and is 34% between Scott Wilson and Ramon Day. So they both got 34% each. So that's real close. Every vote counts. Okay, City Council District 6, another incumbent coming back to the council. Okay, Matt Sellenberg, 67%. You know, notice how the incumbents, the familiar names. So, okay, City Council District 7, Reggie Gaffney, 34%, George Spencer Jr., 25%, so they're going to run off. And I noticed James Eddy didn't make it. Nikki Brunson didn't make it. Even Donald Foy, we hear about him on Mad Dads. He has that organization, Mad Dads. So that is interesting. So District 8, Katrina Brown, Pat Lockett-Felder. Surprisingly, Terry Fields is in 3rd place at this point, which I'm kind of surprised. Followed out by Lynn Sherman, James Breaker. But that one looks like it still could go either way on this one. We have 94% of the precincts reporting, and we've got it could be Fields as in the runoff with Katrina Brown. We'll see. City Council District 9 blowout. Garrett Dennis defeats Glorious Johnson. I was surprised. Glorious Johnson's a familiar name. She was on the City Council before. But she loses tonight. Garrett Dennis is going to the City Council. City Council District 10, Reggie Brown wins it outright, incumbent, wins it outright, 66%. So he's going back to the City Council. That's with 94% reporting. City Council District 12, another incumbent is coming back to the City Council. Doyle Carter, Republican, beating out Abner Davis, 66% to 34%. And last but certainly not least, District 14, I attended the City Council Forum for District 14 at the old Riverside Theater, the Five Points Theater. It's called the Sunray Cinema now. And you know, I was rooting for Jason Tetlick on this one because we're going to start to dip into analysis and commentary in just a moment. Yeah, Jim Love beats Jason Tetlick very solidly, 68%. So Jim Love, incumbent Republican, beats Jason Tetlick, Democrat, and goes back to the City Council. Meet your new boss, same as your old boss. Okay, so I hope you're enjoying our election night coverage. It's 9:14 p.m. Eastern on March 24th. And the night is young because now that we've talked about the results of what we have coming in, it's now time to talk, first of all, about the left turn endorsements and to talk about what I think, and I'm sure out there what you think. Feel free to text me, 904-955-8100. And I will respond. So, all right. So let's talk about the mayor's race. Alvin Brown is going to be going up against Lenny Curry in May. And I kept my remarks brief at the beginning. There's always plenty to say. I've met the mayor personally twice. Once was at One Spark last year in the Hemming Hemian Plaza. After the opening ceremonies, he was shaking hands, and I had the opportunity to shake hands with him briefly. And then earlier this month, I went to a special event at the IBEW, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Union Hall, off of Liberty Street, and enjoyed his speech and had a chance to shake hands with him. And I've been following everything. All the different things are going on. And right now you could pull up on the Jax Left Channel. We started it almost 2 years ago, and I've also, on my other channel, George Farrar channel, I've been covering Jacksonville politics since January, February of 2011. So I've been following things really closely. I've admired the Mayor's Coalition. I've admired the push that there's been to improve our downtown, to bring business downtown. It's been a challenging economy, definitely, and the City Council itself has been somewhat, and when we look at things, we're going to start looking at the council and where things are at with the council. And the question is, people thought there might be a little bit of, if you put the right guy in, there might be a little bit of easy lifting. But no, it's not when there's a city council with who it looks like is being that right now of the incumbents. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, and it's going to be interesting to see what the new folks coming on the council, how effective they are. But when you look at everything, I put out a tweet, and I think it summarized the mayor race pretty effectively, and that was, it boils down to this: Brown has results, Bill Bishop has promises, Lenny Curry has nothing. And even at this point, when we look at it, I really think that people will kind of go like, hey, we have a clear choice, and I think that is a very important thing to remember, that in May you have a clear choice. We can continue to work together to make the city better and to improve things, or we could definitely go backwards, and go backwards very quickly and very harshly. Look at also too, I would suggest, look at who gets elected to the council tonight, because that is who either Mayor Brown in his second term or Lenny Curry in his first term will be having to work with. And I think that there's a lot to talk about. I would like to just for a moment tell you that there was a level of stress that was added upon me as a result of the what was going on with the Bill Bishop, Alvin Brown thing. Okay, I have the courage of my convictions. I come out here on YouTube, and I think it's important to go out there and say, hey, this is where I stand. This is what I think. This is what I'd like to see changed. And let's fight for it together. Together, let's fight for it. And we're going to see, no matter who gets elected in the runoffs and who's been elected tonight, there is always a struggle. There's always, when we have to protest, there's also, though, in the quiet times, time to study, to communicate out what is happening here, and to let people know, hey, this is your city, this is your government, this is your taxpayer money. This is your money that you have to pay out of your property taxes or out of your rent when you if you rent. You do one way or the other, you are paying the city, and your money is going into what we see around us. So it's definitely something to think about. There's going to be a lot going on now. I mean, I can only imagine when I looked at the spending, I know that there's plenty of money on both sides to really to fight this one out. And I will do the best that I can in the ways that I know how to support the mayor's reelection, as I did, and as I've talked about over the past several weeks. And my endorsements that I put out at the LeftTurnNetwork.com, I think it's really good to have a chance to kind of communicate out after careful study who I think could take us to the next level. So that's where we're at with the mayor's race. And let's see. Let's just check one more thing here. And we've got 97%, and the percentages are the same. Now, one thing just to keep in mind. Bill Bishop did pick up a percent, so he's at 17% of the votes cast, with 97% of the precincts reporting. Omega Allen got 2%. She really wiped out. I wasn't very impressed by her performance in debate. People have their things that they're smart about, but communication and really having a clear plan is important. And I still say, Lenny Curry is an empty suit. Bill Bishop, I think the thing about it, there are a couple things, I talked about, and I thought about this. I was out filming on Saturday, filming an episode of the Farrar Report and a report about the South Bank and development on the river. And so I was out filming, and I was like, oh, I see. It's kind of like here in San Marco. I see, oh yeah, Bill Bishop for mayor. He didn't have the broad-based support because this city's huge. Okay, this city's huge. It's big. You've got to get around, and you got to appeal across a broad base of the population that votes. We're a big city, and mayor's not going to be elected just out of Riverside and Avondale, San Marco, and a couple places here or there. The suburbs matter, right? I like to say, hey, not to get all making a big deal about where I live, but gosh darn it, the West Side matters. Yeah, seriously, we need better roads. I couldn't see why people were voting these people back in. I don't know. I don't see that. My feeling is that I don't see that the West Side sometimes gets what we should have coming. Though I will say the Cecil Field development has been really taking off. So that's where we're at, and so it's going to be interesting. And I think it is important that people have to understand that we need to let the bad feelings of the past go, and negative campaigns and things were getting negative. When I come out here and I talk, sometimes, and I put out my endorsements and things, it can sometimes generate a little bit of blowback. Because not everybody agrees. Not everybody thinks, that I should have been supporting the mayor. But I always look at let's look at the best of people and the best of folks. So, all right. We're going to go race by race with my analysis. I'll talk about who I endorsed, and then we will talk about where things go from here, and we'll call it a night. Okay. So for sheriff, we're looking right now at with 97% of precincts reporting the runoff. Well, we'll look at Ken Jefferson and Mike Williams. All right, Ken Jefferson 36%, Mike Williams 22%, Jimmy Holderfield at 20%. Unless something bumps up, then it'll be Ken Jefferson, Democrat, versus Mike Williams, Republican. And Mike Williams being endorsed by the current sheriff, John Rutherford. So I was surprised at Ken Jefferson's turnout. He really brought out the votes. And I thought the spread would be a little bit wider. And I expected Holderfield to do better. So that's interesting. Something to think about. And of course, hey, cops vote, right? Okay, supervisor elections, 97% reporting. Mike Hogan's locked that up, and that was too bad. Back to the sheriff's race, I had endorsed Jay Farhat, And that was a disappointment. And also I endorsed Tracy Davis, and so that's a disappointment as well. Hey, so and while we're at it, why don't I go ahead? Looks like we've got some solid decisions on the issues. Referendum 1, the Inspector General, and expanding the authority of the Inspector General. We have an existing Inspector General's office within the city. The vote was whether you wanted to expand it to include constitutional officers and authorities. I say, hey, yeah, great. And yes, 55% with 97% reporting. So it looks like that one has won. And so there will be an expanded Inspector General's office. Hopefully we'll save more money, which was basically has been my hope. So we'll see. All right, and then the straw ballot, it's non-binding. City employee residency, 64% of the people said yes. 36% said no, and so it's up to the council. That's with 97% reporting. All right. And I was for that too. I think that, hey, if you're going to work for the city, you should live in the city. Makes sense, right? Now, of course, that excluded school board. So, but again, non-binding, it's up to the city council. Okay. So where we're looking right now, Kimberly Daniels and Anna Brosh. Well, I put up a video back in 2011 about Kimberly Daniels, and I talked about how I felt about Kimberly Daniels, and she's going to go up for a runoff, I do hope that she hasn't shown up. She has the worst attendance on the city council, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I was for Terry Reid, but he lost as well. But hey, all of my folks aren't completely wiping out tonight or having to go to runoff. I'm pleased to report that John Crescimini looks like he will be coming back to the city council, and I like him. I've really been satisfied with where he's been on the council. Okay, and that's 97% reporting, with 97% reporting in at-large Group 3, Tommy Azuri. And now he is at 45%, and Jeff Youngblood is at 42%. So they're going to be facing each other in a runoff. So he couldn't pull it off completely, but it does show that this is a bit split. The person in third place was further back, Mincy Pollock, another Democrat. So that kind of split the vote that would have, I think, gone for Tommy Azuri. All right, Group 4, Greg Anderson returned back. I didn't support him. I supported Juanita Powell-Williams. Jacoby Pittman looks like she's going to be facing with either, all these with 97% reporting. She'll be facing back, looks like, with Sam Newby, or if something, unless Michelle Topani somehow pulls it off with a little bit left to wait on. So we've still got some votes trickling in. Okay, City Council District 1. It's going to be between Joyce Morgan and Mike Anania as the facing off in the runoff. Joyce Morgan and Mike Anania. Now, I'd endorsed Melody Stachter. She was a distant third, and then Eddie Christian a distant fourth. Okay, City Council District 2. Lisa King will face Al Ferreira. That's 100% reported. And the District 1 was 100% reported as well. Aaron Bowman is going to the City Council, 63%, 100% reporting. And I supported him in that, so that's good. Okay, City Council District 4. 82% still. This is a real stubborn district. I don't know what's going on here. Scott Wilson, 34%. Ramon Day, 34%. I'd support Ramon Day. City Council District 6, I didn't have an endorsement on that one. And Matt Spellenberg, the independent Republican, excuse me, not the independent, the incumbent Republican is headed back to city council, 67%. Okay, District 7, we knew this one was very competitive. It was going to break, you know, it was going to be it was guaranteed runoff, and we aren't disappointed. Reggie Gaffney looks like he's going to go up against George Spencer Jr. 100% reporting, so yeah. Reggie Gaffney versus George Spencer Jr. in the May runoff. Nikki Brunson didn't make it. James Eddy, I support James Eddy and was sympathetic with Nikki Brunson, but they both didn't make it. Oh well. So we've got some disappointment tonight, folks, here on the left turn. And there's a lot we need to do in the areas of campaigning, being out there in the community, talking, getting control of the message. You know, I want to do more. I always say that I want to do more, and I hope to eventually break out into other areas in our community to do more. So I'm excited by what I'm seeing though, and what I'm feeling. Okay, City Council District 8. Katrina Brown looks like will either be going up against Pat Lockett-Felder and Terry Fields, and that was a close one. We got some close district races, 94% reporting. So that's going to be interesting to see whether it's going to go up, how that's going to go and how that runoff will turn out. Okay. Now this one was a disappointment, a big disappointment. I was big supporter of Gloria Johnson, and she lost. And Garrett Dennis is going to the City Council. They're both Democrats. City Council District 10, Reggie Brown. I supported the no party affiliation, Joseph Willis. He got third place, 15%. Celestine Mills got second place, 19%. But Reggie Brown, incumbent Democrat, going back to the City Council. Okay, I supported Abner Davis in District 12, but, you know, once again, Doyle Carter going back to the council. Incumbent Republican, 66%. So, you know, again, they were redrawing the lines. I was actually in that district. I was in that district, but I got moved to District 10. So think about that. That might have been one more vote for Abner Davis, along with whoever else was moved when the district lines were changed. City Council District 14. You know, I was supporting Jason Tite like a heartbreaker on that one. Jim Love, incumbent Republican, goes back to the council. All right. So when you look at it, we got some really new people. Some of the more, we got some things that have to be resolved. What's going to happen with Zuri? What's going to happen, certainly, of course, with the mayor? Is he going to get reelected? Or is everybody just going to, you know, do you really think, though? I think, though, we need to be really tough. We need to also to reach out to people who are voting for Bill Bishop, because as I mentioned at the beginning of our broadcast, I liked some of his ideas. You know, I think a lot of it, though, was, too, he just didn't really, there wasn't a big leadership in the council that really, or he would have pulled more voters. He would have pulled more voters. It would have been closer. And also, too, when I think about it, you know, I think about, you know, ultimately, what are the results? What's the output? And, you know, of course, I went with Brown based on that reason. So I hope to do more. I hope to be involved more deeply with things and have a chance to really be a part of the election coming up. Which will be our runoff election May 19th. But remember, too, we're going to be gearing up for early voting. So definitely be ready. And I'll, of course, have my analysis and thoughts as it comes together. Okay. I want to thank you for joining me. This has been quite an experiment, a live broadcast of election returns, you know, and I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you got something out of it. I want to do more coverage on politics of the elections as they're happening. So I have a lot planned. Of course, we have our episodes of History Jacksonville. I have a new series that has emerged called Vision in Transition that's looking at the St. Johns River. It may also expand the look elsewhere within the city. as the city itself goes through changes. Things happen over time, you know, and the decisions that we make today, you know, the decisions we make today matter, and they impact our future. I talked a lot about development on the river. You know, the next mayor is going to be involved with that. Are we going to have someone who's going to do right by the city or not? And I think past performance has a role in predicting future results and performance. So, all right. So we also have, of course, we have History Jacksonville. We have, I'll be getting back eventually to working on Who Runs Jacksonville. And we also, coming up, we'll have our election coverage. And also, I'm going to be profiling on different issues as they come up. And also, of course, eventually it'll become budget season time. And we'll talk about the city budget. And we'll try to do it in even more of an entertaining visual format for you to enjoy. So there's a lot ahead on the Jax Left Channel, on the LeftTurnNetwork.com, and also on the George Farrar channel, where every Sunday by 7 p.m. Eastern, you can certainly see the Farrar Report on that channel and on the LeftTurnNetwork.com. Weekly talk about what's going on in the world, in the United States, here in Florida, and of course here locally in Jacksonville. And also definitely on this channel, keep an eye on our One Spark coverage. I'll be putting together at least one, it's probably going to be one report about One Spark. And you're going to have a chance to see some really crazy, amazing stuff, as I will be expecting to see. As I had seen last year, I expect to see some good stuff at One Spark this year. And it's been a long day, 10-hour work day, had dinner, put everything together, and so I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. If you haven't subscribed to the Jax Left channel, please consider subscribing, and please check out the LeftTurnNetwork.com because everything's there. There's a ton of stuff. I've been broadcasting since 2011. I've been broadcasting a lot about Jacksonville politics and Jacksonville history. And the best is yet to come here on the LeftTurnNetwork.com. And I'm continuing to do different things, and we'll see how everything goes. So I want to thank you for watching. Take it easy. See you later.